Okay, can you state your name?
My name is William Selden Hamilton, and I was born in Cincinnati in 1941. They call me Billy, and I have two careers, one of them being a professor and the other being a former bluegrass picker. Well, it happened that this past spring I taught bluegrass music at Wake Forest under the guise of a first-year seminar. There you teach writing and argumentation, but the topic can be anything, so it was. But right now
Hopefully.
I'm sitting here with a guitar. This instrument is only 10 years younger than I am, so this is a 1951 model, and you can tell by looking inside and seeing the serial number, which I already know by heart is number 121797 from the Martin Company, but I don't think it says Martin up here anymore because once I had gotten a hold of it, I just wanted it to be fancy and even unique, so it is. So I thought, well, I really want to have a thistle up here in my peg head because my name is Hamilton, so I looked up in the encyclopedia and saw a picture of a thistle and traced it and then cut out the shells and put them in.
So you did that by yourself. The guitar did not come with that.
The guitar came all beat up. It said C.F. Martin here. The bridge was backwards and about to fall off. The face was already disfigured in this fashion because some overly aggressive hillbilly was whacking on it for so long that it's almost like what Willie Nelson has on his guitar where there's just a big hole. It came up to New Haven in 1964. I called my friends who were coming up to visit and I said, why don't you go down to the pawn shop and buy me one of those D-28s. You don't spend more than $120, please. And they brought it up on the roof of a old, what do you call, VW Beetle in a cardboard box through the rain. It arrived and they said, Billy, we're sorry, we had to go a little bit above that. We had to pay $125. And I thought, damn. But anyway, I had this guitar and it didn't look very good, but it sounded right, so I undertook to decorate it even further, and if you can see here in the partial light, that's a abalone ring there. I just thought that would look good, and then I got excited and put abalone going up the side of the neck, and I put snowflakes in here. And by that time I had a guitar that was fancy enough so it didn't look like anybody else's.
It looks beautiful.
And not bad, but you know, I don't like perfection. I hate that when you have a perfect guitar, and what are you going to do? You better keep it in the case, because if you scratch it like then you've reduced the value. So people look at this one and say, oh man, if that thing was in mint condition, it'd be worth $20,000, $30,000. I say, yeah, but I kind of like it this way. And it only cost me $125. Back to the guitar itself. It has no particular value, but the fact that it looked so unusual paid off when it got stolen in New York City.
It was stolen?
I had been out in California to visit, no, I was in California to go to an academic summer symposium we had at UCLA, and I drove back from UCLA and parked up in the northern part of New York City up by Columbia. My mother was in the hospital at Columbia, and I was just in a hurry to see her. And I left my car full of musical instruments parked outside of Columbia. So when I got back, there wasn't anything left but the seats. And this guitar had disappeared along with a very nice old Vega banjo that I had and a violin that I had about 2/3 finished building. It had the body and the neck, and I was ready to put them together. So that was all gone. My suitcase didn't matter, but I felt bad about the guitar and the banjo, so I immediately called the police. This is 1966. And the police said, well, tell us the serial number for your guitar. And then if somebody discovers it and gets it back, we can find you. I said, okay, it's number 121797, same here. And I combed the streets of Harlem, which was right downhill from Columbia. Kind of a strange neighborhood at the time, but I wasn't afraid. I just thought I'd see if I could find my guitar in a pawn shop. And a day or two passed, and turned out what had happened was that a certain hippie, whose name I've long forgotten, had been walking to his apartment in Harlem and saw a couple of, he thinks, Puerto Rican guys dragging this guitar without a case through the streets of Harlem. And he ran up to him and said, "Hey guys, I know what's going on. I'll give you $20 for that guitar." And they said, "All right." And they gave it to the hippie. He gave him 20, and the hippie immediately thought, "Well, let's see, I better call the police, because when something's obviously been stolen, maybe I can get back to the owner." He called the police, and they said, "Oh, we have a computer. We'll check and see." So they checked and said, "No, sir, actually, you're in luck. It's not hot." In other words, the computer wasn't doing its work. So he got excited and hopped on a subway and went down to the folk music guitar store down in Greenwich Village. And he walked in and says, "Look what I just got for $20. I said, "Oh, that's Billy Hamilton's guitar. You better give it back to him." This is 1966. So I did find the guy and gave him the 20 and bought him a steak dinner. That's about all I could do. You know, he didn't feel bad about it. He felt good, and so did I. But I had this hanging on the wall, and sometime while I was gone, it just decided to fall off the wall and fell into several splinters. The whole back was splintered. I got home and saw it, and I thought, well, let's see here. So what I did was when I re-glued it, I had to glue it back on. And there's still a missing piece here. You can sort of see that. I just smartly, deliberately forsook the binding part that goes up here, and I jackknifed it and glued it tighter, so this went, and that allowed the angle of the neck to go back down to where it ought to be, and so then it began to work better. So there was some bad in the fact that it fell off the wall. If I had to do again, I'd just knock it off the wall and see then if I could repair it. When I was young, I studied a tongue with lots of vowels and stresses, and I long to go where they have no snow, and the girls wear beautiful dresses. So in my middle age, I returned to the page to get the language back in my head. And when the boss said when the prof said when the prof asked why I was studying, I just simply smiled and said, I was a French student. This was about 15 years ago. Je voudrais mourir en France. Mais pas ce moment. Je voudrais mourir en France, mais pas du tout maintenant. Je préférerais m'arrêter sous le soleil, enchanté en cet été immergé, brillant et chantant. Je voudrais mourir en France. I would like to die in France, but not exactly right now. I do plan to die in France, but I'm not sure when or how. I'd like to play another day, and let me stay and find a way. Oh, please give me one more chance to die in France.
Bit of a morbid song, this one.
No, if you're my age, you know, that's what it's all about, is singing stuff that actually either you wrote it or you feel it.
All right, thank you very much.